A legacy intertwined. Muslims in the European narrative. Europe's relationship with Islam stretches back centuries. It's a rich tapestry woven with threads of trade, scholarship, and cultural exchange. From the Moors in Spain to the Ottoman Empire's influence, Muslim presence has shaped European history. This legacy is often overlooked. Today, Muslims are an integral part of Europe's social fabric. They contribute to every facet of society, from medicine and engineering to art and sports. Despite this shared history, a narrative of otherness persists. This narrative paints Muslims as outsiders, ignoring their deep roots and contributions. It's crucial to recognize and challenge this misconception. Muslims are not a monolithic group. They represent diverse cultures, ethnicities, and schools of thought within Islam. To understand the challenges they face, we need to move beyond simplistic labels. The rise of Islamophobia fanning the flames of fear. Islamophobia, the irrational fear or prejudice against Islam and Muslims, has been on the rise in Europe. This surge is fueled by a complex interplay of factors. Political rhetoric often exploits anxieties about immigration and terrorism, conflating them with Islam. Media portrayals frequently reinforce negative stereotypes. This creates a climate of suspicion and mistrust. The consequences of Islamophobia are far-reaching. Muslims experience discrimination in employment, housing, and education. They are often subjected to verbal and physical harassment. This climate of fear has a chilling effect on free speech and religious expression. It creates barriers to integration and undermines social cohesion. Trapped in the crosshairs: discrimination against Muslims in Europe. Discrimination against Muslims in Europe is a stark reality that many face daily. Statistics paint a troubling picture. According to a 2018 report by the European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights, 50% of Muslims in Europe have experienced discrimination based on their religion or ethnicity. This is not just a number, it represents real people with real stories. This discrimination manifests in various forms, from verbal abuse to physical violence and even systemic exclusion. Muslims face barriers in accessing employment opportunities, often being overlooked or unfairly judged during job interviews. They experience prejudice in housing, making it difficult to find a place to live, and in healthcare, where they may be ignored or mistreated. Muslim women who choose to wear headscarves are often targeted, facing harassment and discrimination simply for their choice of attire. They face discrimination in the workplace and public spaces, where they are often subjected to hostile environments. This prejudice restricts their freedom of religious expression, making it difficult for them to practice their faith openly. It also perpetuates harmful stereotypes about Muslim women, limiting their opportunities and reinforcing negative perceptions. Addressing Islamophobia and discrimination requires a multi-pronged approach, involving communities, governments, and individuals. Governments must enact and enforce anti-discrimination laws to protect the rights of all citizens, ensuring that everyone is treated fairly. Educational institutions need to promote intercultural understanding, teaching students about different cultures and fostering an environment of respect and inclusion. The media plays a crucial role in challenging stereotypes and promoting balanced reporting, helping to change public perceptions and reduce prejudice. France, a secular republic grappling with religious diversity. France, with its long tradition of secularism or laïcité, presents a unique case study. This principle, deeply rooted in the French Revolution, was designed to create a society where religion and government operate independently. The principle of laïcité emphasizes the separation of church and state. It aims to ensure the neutrality of public institutions, allowing them to function without religious influence. It aims to ensure the neutrality of public institutions. This neutrality is intended to foster an environment where all citizens, regardless of their religious beliefs, are treated equally. However, critics argue that laïcité has been used to target Muslims and restrict their religious freedom. They point to specific laws and policies that seem to disproportionately affect the Muslim community. The 2004 law banning religious symbols in public schools, including headscarves, sparked controversy. This law was seen by many as disproportionately impacting Muslim girls, who were forced to choose between their education and their religious practices. It was seen by many as disproportionately impacting Muslim girls. The debate over this law continues to be a point of contention in French society. The French government's efforts to combat separatism have also raised concerns. These measures, intended to promote national unity, are viewed by some as veiled attempts to suppress Muslim communities. Critics argue that these measures unfairly target Muslims and stifle dissent. They believe that such policies create an atmosphere of suspicion and division, rather than fostering true integration. France's approach to integration has been criticized for its assimilationist model. This model expects immigrants to conform to French culture and values, often at the expense of their own cultural identities. This model expects immigrants to conform to French culture and values, often at the expense of their own cultural identities. Critics argue that this approach fails to recognize the richness that diverse cultures bring to French society. While upholding the principle of laïcité is important, it should not come at the cost of religious freedom and equality for all citizens. A balance must be struck to ensure that all individuals can practice their faith freely while contributing to the broader French community. Section 5. Germany, Navigating Integration and Exclusion. Germany, home to a large Turkish Muslim population, offers another perspective. Germany's approach to integration has evolved over time. The concept of guest worker, prevalent in the 1960s and 1970s, assumed that immigrants would eventually return to their countries of origin. This approach hindered integration efforts. In recent years, Germany has adopted a more inclusive approach, recognizing the importance of social cohesion. However, challenges remain. The rise of far-right populist movements has contributed to a climate of anti-immigrant sentiment. Muslims in Germany continue to face discrimination in various sectors, including employment and housing. Germany's experience highlights the complexities of integration. It underscores the need for policies that promote social inclusion while respecting cultural diversity. Section 6. A continent-divided case studies of Islamophobia across Europe. Beyond France and Germany, the experiences of Muslims vary across Europe. In some countries, like the Netherlands and Denmark, anti-immigrant sentiment has fueled restrictive policies. These policies often target Muslim communities, limiting their rights and freedoms. In other countries like Sweden and Ireland, there have been efforts to promote multiculturalism and inclusion. However, even in these contexts, challenges remain in combating prejudice and discrimination. Italy has witnessed a surge in anti-immigrant sentiment, particularly targeting Muslim migrants arriving by sea. Austria has implemented policies restricting religious attire and limiting the funding of mosques. These examples demonstrate that Islamophobia is not confined to any one region or political ideology. It's a pan-European issue that requires a coordinated response. Section 7. The long arm of the law, EU policies, and their impact on Muslims. The European Union has grappled with the challenges of migration and integration. EU policies have a significant impact on the lives of Muslims in Europe. The Dublin Regulation, for instance, has been criticized for placing a disproportionate burden on countries at the EU's external borders. This has led to overcrowding and poor living conditions in refugee camps. The EU's counter-terrorism measures have also raised concerns. Critics argue that these measures often single out Muslims, leading to profiling and discrimination. While security concerns are legitimate, it's crucial to ensure that counter-terrorism efforts do not infringe on fundamental rights and freedoms. The EU has a responsibility to uphold the rights of all its residents, regardless of their religion or ethnicity. Section 8. Guardians of Justice human rights organizations on the front line. In the face of these challenges, human rights organizations play a vital role. Organizations like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the European Network Against Racism document human rights abuses. They advocate for policy changes and provide legal support to victims of discrimination. These organizations also play a crucial role in raising awareness about Islamophobia and its impact. They challenge negative stereotypes and promote interfaith dialogue. Their work is essential in holding governments accountable and ensuring that the rights of all individuals are protected. Supporting these organizations is crucial in the fight against Islamophobia and discrimination. Section 9. Building bridges, not walls. A vision for an inclusive Europe. The challenges facing Muslims in Europe are complex and multifaceted. These challenges range from social exclusion and discrimination to economic disadvantages and political underrepresentation. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive approach that tackles both the root causes and the symptoms of Islamophobia. Education is key. Schools and universities must incorporate curricula that promote understanding and respect for different cultures and religions. Promoting intercultural understanding and challenging stereotypes from a young age is essential. This can be achieved through inclusive educational programs and community activities that celebrate diversity. Governments must enact and enforce strong anti-discrimination laws. These laws should protect all individuals from hate crimes and ensure equal opportunities in all sectors of society. They must also ensure that law enforcement agencies receive adequate training on diversity and inclusion. This training should focus on cultural sensitivity and the importance of building trust within communities. The media has a responsibility to report on Islam and Muslims in a fair and balanced manner. Media outlets should highlight positive stories and contributions of Muslims to society, countering negative stereotypes. Promoting interfaith dialogue and fostering relationships across communities is crucial in building bridges of understanding. These dialogues can help dispel myths and promote mutual respect. Creating a more inclusive Europe requires a collective effort. It involves governments, communities, and individuals working together towards common goals. It demands a commitment to equality, justice, and respect for the dignity of all individuals. Everyone has a role to play in this endeavor. By working together, we can create a Europe where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. A Europe that truly embodies the principles of unity and diversity.